Have you ever wondered who actually invented the internet? Not who got rich from it, not who made the apps you use every day, but who really deserves the credit for creating the thing that quietly runs your entire life. Because if we're being honest, the person who invented the internet should be unimaginably wealthy, historically untouchable, almost mythical, someone on the level of a god of modern civilization. And yet, when you ask that question, the answers are always messy, contradictory, and oddly unsatisfying. Some people say it was a British scientist in a European research lab. Others swear it was the United States government, terrified of nuclear war. Some point to obscure French researchers. And a surprising number of people still insist it was a politician who got laughed at for even suggesting it. So who's right? And more importantly, why does this question refuse to have a clean answer? At first glance, it feels like it should be simple. History loves neat stories. One inventor, one moment, one breakthrough. Edison and the light bulb, Bell and the telephone, Wright brothers and flight. We are trained to expect a single hero standing at the beginning of every major invention. But the internet refuses to play by those rules. The more you pull on the thread, the more it unravels into something bigger, stranger, and far more human than a single name or date. Part of the confusion starts with language. We casually say, the internet, as if it's one thing. But in reality, we're mixing together multiple ideas. The internet itself is just a massive collection of networks connected to each other. Computers talking to computers using agreed-upon rules. The World Wide Web, on the other hand, is the system that lets you navigate all of that information easily, clicking links, opening pages, watching videos like this one. They feel inseparable now, but they were born years apart for very different reasons. And that distinction alone already ruins the idea of a single inventor. Long before anyone was scrolling, posting, or streaming, computers were lonely machines. Massive, expensive, room-sized monsters that did one task at a time. In the 1950s and early 1960s, if you wanted to use a computer, you didn't open a laptop. You scheduled time. You waited your turn. And once your job was done, the machine moved on to the next person. Scientists quickly realized this was incredibly inefficient. These machines were powerful, but most of the time, that power was being wasted. The first real spark that would eventually lead to the internet wasn't about communication at all. It was about sharing. Sharing processing power. Sharing expensive resources. The idea was simple but radical. What if multiple people could use the same computer at the same time? This concept, known as time sharing, changed everything. Once computers started serving multiple users simultaneously, the next logical question was inevitable. If people could share a computer, why couldn't computers share information with each other? Around the world, researchers started asking that question at the same time, not because they planned to change society, but because they were trying to solve practical problems. In the United States, government-funded research agencies wanted their computers to work together. In Britain, scientists were experimenting with more efficient ways to move data across networks. In France, researchers were exploring decentralized communication systems that didn't rely on a single central control point. None of these groups were thinking about social media, online shopping, or viral videos. They were just trying to make machines cooperate. One of the most important ideas to emerge from this era was packet switching. Instead of sending information as one continuous stream, data could be broken into small chunks, sent independently, and reassembled at the destination. It was elegant, efficient, and resilient. If one path failed, the data could simply take another route. This concept alone did more to shape the internet than most people realize. And it didn't come from a single country or a single lab. It emerged from parallel thinking across borders, driven by similar challenges and limited resources. By the early 1970s, multiple networks existed, but they had a serious problem. They couldn't talk to each other. Each network spoke its own language, followed its own rules, and lived in its own isolated world. Connecting them was like trying to have a conversation where everyone spoke a different language and refused to translate. The breakthrough came not from building a new machine, but from creating a shared language, a set of rules that any network could follow. That language became TCP/IP. These protocols didn't care what kind of computer you were using or where you were located. They simply defined how data should be packaged, addressed, sent, received, and checked for errors. With TCP/IP, networks could finally become networks of networks, an internetwork, an internet. On January 1st, 1983, this shift officially took place, and the modern internet, at least in a technical sense, was born. But even then, it was still an ugly, text-heavy, expert-only space. You didn't browse the internet, you navigated it, carefully, slowly, with commands and numbers and technical knowledge that most people simply didn't have. The internet existed, but it wasn't inviting, it wasn't friendly, it wasn't for everyone. That's where another critical piece enters the story. Not a new network, but a new way of seeing information. At a European research facility, a frustrated scientist was struggling with a problem that sounds almost trivial today: sharing documents with colleagues. Files were scattered across different computers, stored in incompatible systems, and accessing them was a constant headache. His solution was deceptively simple. What if information could be connected using links? What if you could click your way through knowledge instead of hunting it down? That idea became the World Wide Web. Built on top of the existing internet, it introduced web pages, hyperlinks, URLs, and browsers. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just a tool for specialists. It was something ordinary people could use. You didn't need to know where a file was physically stored. You just needed to know how to get there, with a click. Once that door opened, everything accelerated, universities connected, businesses followed. Internet service providers appeared, turning access into a product. Browsers competed. Email exploded. And within a few short years, what had taken decades to quietly assemble behind the scenes became impossible to ignore. By the mid-1990s, the internet had crossed a threshold. It stopped being experimental infrastructure and became a part of daily life. This is usually where the story gets simplified. Someone gets the credit, someone else gets blamed. A politician makes an awkward statement and becomes a punchline. But the truth is far more interesting than any meme. The internet wasn't invented the way a machine is invented. It emerged. It evolved. It was shaped by thousands of decisions, compromises, experiments, and failures made by people who were solving local problems without fully realizing the global consequences. That's why the question, who invented the internet, keeps breaking down. Because it assumes intention where there was iteration. It assumes ownership where there was collaboration. It assumes a finish line where there was only momentum. The internet is not the product of a single mind. It's the result of a collective process that mirrors human communication itself. Messy, distributed, constantly changing, and driven by the need to connect. And that's the real climax of the story. The most powerful technology of the modern world wasn't built by one genius in isolation. It was built by people trying to share, to collaborate, to communicate more effectively. Governments played a role. Scientists played a role. Engineers played a role. And eventually ordinary users did too. Every email sent, every website built, every comment posted added another piece to the system. So when you ask who invented the internet, the most honest answer is uncomfortable but profound. We all did. Not equally, not intentionally, but collectively. And we're still doing it. Every time you go online, you're not just consuming the internet. You're participating in it, you're shaping it. You're adding your own small contribution to something that is still unfinished. If you've made it this far, you're already part of that story. And if this video changed the way you think about the internet even a little, leave a comment and share your thoughts. If you enjoy deep dives like this that go beyond simple answers, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. Because the story of technology isn't just about machines, it's about us, and we're far from done writing it.